My name is Melanie Lewis, and I am the owner of the Perfectly Sweets Company, the pastry chef and owner.
My name is Melissa Taylor. I'm the owner of Beauty by Melissa T and the Beauty Lounge in Minneapolis. Beauty by Melissa T is a company that is revolutionizing the way that we see our hair through salon culture, education, and product. The beauty industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we have about $2 billion of spending power in the industry. So Black women we spend tons of money on our hair, partially because we are always trying to find the best solution. And for me, if we have the right education out there, we don't have to keep searching for answers.
I actually was a pastry chef here in the Twin Cities for 10 years. I have worked under some well-known chefs, Tim McKee, Isaac Becker. Last known was Gavin Kaysen. I was working at Spoon and Stable. I decided to leave Spoon and Stable as the sous pastry chef over there to start my own business.
Originally, I actually moved to Minnesota to work for one of the large corporations here, and I went to cosmetology school. I started doing hair in the bridal industry, so I did weddings on the weekends, and I quit my job and started working at a salon space. Shortly after I quit my job, the owner of that space said that she sold her business, and she had this salon space that she had nothing to do with. So a little bit prematurely, I decided to take over the salon space. Women of color have a very unique experience with their hair. We've been forced to assimilate. We've been forced to wear our hair many different ways just to have job opportunities throughout history. Our hair has a very strong impact on the way that we live our lives. So one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm working on a class for multiracial parents and parents of transracial adoptees called Kids Hair Fundamentals. And that class is really to help those parents learn how to do hair that's different from their own, but then also understand how important language is, the way that we talk about our children's hair to them, understanding the impact of their hair on their self-esteem, understanding that they may be in spaces where nobody looks like them and they may not feel beautiful, but how important it is for parents to instill that beauty in their children.
So being one as a Black woman in this field, where it's mainly dominated by white men, so when I start to tell investors or just people what my business is, and then they want to know where I've worked. So then when I tell them where I've worked, then it's more like, oh, so you know Tim, you know all these white guys, that I've worked with. Why should I have to be validated by these white men when I'm telling you what I have done on my own myself? So they always, usually second guess me as a Black woman just to see if I know food, if I know what I'm talking about. And then they're surprised when I say, oh yeah, well, I know that restaurant, I know that person. Oh, really? They figure, I guess, I work at Applebee's or something, but yeah, it's always the second guessing of what I know and then who I know, and there's always, I need the validation of somebody else, and not enough of me saying I've done this in my career. And then when it comes to investors, they second guess my just ability to run a business. And then they're like, well, how can you do this? Or maybe you're doing too much, or you're taking on too much. Maybe you should start here. And so it's just like, I have a plan. It took me a while to create that business plan. So I have a plan. I plan on following that said plan. So it's just always just thinking that I'm not capable enough to run a business. And then when I say on the north side of Minneapolis, oh God. So they're just like, well, how are you gonna manage on the north side? Do they need something like that? Of course they do. The north side needs pastries and coffee like anybody else would. We're humans. So just the second guessing of, you want to be on the north side, why not be on the south side, why not be in the suburbs? That's your target market. My product is good enough where people that don't live in that area will drive. John Krause is in the south side of Minneapolis. People drive from Eden Prairie, people drive from St. Paul just to go get a croissant. So if he can do it, why am I second guess about doing it on the north side? So I have been to quite a few of organizations that are supposedly to help people of color start small businesses. And to me, they just kind of peddle the same information. And so when you tell them, hey, I've created this business plan, I've done this is where I'm stuck at, then they just seem to be like, or they find out I don't need $100,000. Then like, oh, we can't help you. So you can't help me because I don't need, and I don't want to push my financials to make that $100,000 mark, and then, you know, I've taken on too much. And so when I tell them, oh, I only need 50,000, oh, well, that's too small. And then they're like, oh, you know, well, I've already done the business plan, I have my financials. Oh, well, we'll give you a call. And then I never receive a call. It's not just we need the money, or we need the loans, or we need the investors. We also need that support to maintain the business once it is up and running. I don't think people get that. They just figure we just give them the loan or whatever. I don't want you just to give me money. I want to be able to learn how to maintain and sustain the business once it's up and running.
Yes. My biggest challenge has been just really understanding the different types of investors that are out there. I know that people can invest in your business in many different ways, but I'm really just dipping my toe into the pool of investing. One of the biggest challenges that I've had is just finding funding. When I first started my business, I went to the bank and they said, in order for you to get a loan, you need to be in business for 2 years. And I'm like, well, I need the money right now. I don't have 2 years of business credit to get this money. And that was really frustrating for me. So I used a lot of my personal money to help fund this business. I had a little bit of money in my 401k because I've been working for 4 years, and I used most of that to fund this business. So my business has been 100% self-funded, which I know it's not the best thing, but it's what I had to do at the time to get my dream off the ground. And Square allows business owners to take capital loans based on their transaction history. It's really convenient because you get the money really quickly, but on the other hand, you also pay back the money really quickly. So at the current moment, we pay back about 9% of our total sales each day to our loan.
To you.
I would love a different financing option that provided a larger amount of capital at a time. So they base the amount of money they offer you on how many transactions you've done over the past 365 days. Also, I would like to have a different, more negotiation with my terms. Paying back 9% every single day is a lot for a small business. It's nice because it's accessible and it's available to you, but it's 9%.
People that I've talked to, the investors I've talked to, they've owned businesses, but it's a whole different story when it's a restaurant business. And so they can only give me as a business owner, not a food business owner. And so those things are two different. So I would prefer someone who's been in the business. That way I can ask them questions, get their perspective on certain things. What's a good deal? What's not such a good deal?
Right now, my ideal investor doesn't necessarily have to be in the beauty industry. It'd be wonderful if I had somebody who just helped me understand how to run a business from not being an operator. So I've always been a hairstylist in my business, and now it's time to step back and operate more as a CEO of my business. So understanding that top-down perspective of my business is huge for me.
Talked to him about it. Now this man has owned businesses, sold them, owned like the whole thing, but it was just a little bit harder for him to grasp his head around a food business and how it actually works. And so he didn't know what a pop-up was. So I had to explain to him what a pop-up was and how that benefits a business. So it was pretty tough. I mean, he's a nice guy, and we're still talking, but just to have to explain all of that and have to deviate and, you know, break it down for him so he'd understand it was just, and then his question was, well, why do you need this? Or why do you need that? That stuff that was in my financial projections of things that I knew I needed to run a business successfully. And he's like, well, why do you need this? And then why do you need that? You don't think we could take this out or maybe take that out? And so I'm just like, I appreciate the suggestions, but I wouldn't have put it in there if I didn't need it. And so my projections were made based on need, not things that I could want in the future, but things that could help me grow as a business, starting a business now. So taking things out was not an option. So looking at a person and saying, well, you don't have this experience, or your credit looks like this, or whatever. Get to know them as a person first and see the potential in them. Hey, if I can mentor them and just give them suggestions about, hey, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, you can always grow somebody into being a better business leader. But to just discount a person because of these little things, I think it's real crazy. And then I think people already see the risk before they get to know the person.
For investors, it's just be patient with us. We have the knowledge, we have the skill, but a lot of times we haven't had people teaching us. We haven't had access to this information. So just really be patient with us and teach us. We're willing to learn, and we're willing to hear your advice, but we just need to know.
Entrepreneurs.
I think the biggest thing is just understanding their holistic vision. The way I operate my business is very different from a lot of other salons. I'm really big on making a larger social impact and solving a lot of challenges that women of color face when it comes to their hair. So for me, it's not just hair. It's really understanding the psychological impacts that hair has on the way that we live our lives. So for me, having investors understand that it's bigger than something that's just cosmetic, and understanding why I do my business.
So Connectup, when I first got there, I didn't really understand how it was all going to turn out, because I knew that investors were going to be in the same room with entrepreneurs, and I'm like, how does that work? I had been conditioned I had been to some of every small business organization that's supposed to help minorities start businesses, and to me it was always the same thing. So I kind of knew, jumping from one small business organization to the next, of what information they were going to give me, and I started to understand they kind of peddle the same information. And anytime I got up to like the loan part of it, then it was, oh, we can't help you. So then I found myself starting all over again with another organization. So by the time I got to Connectup, I was pretty much tired. But once I got there and I saw how everybody was just a person, and you didn't know who the investors were, who the entrepreneurs were, because I was trying to figure out who's who in the room, but I didn't know. And so the info session gave me a lot more information about how it actually works, and their approach to investors and entrepreneurs were so much different than any of the other organizations I've been to. So then after the info session, it was just a networking thing. And so here I am talking to people. I didn't know who was who. I was just talking, and then there was this guy that was asking questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see your business? And we were talking about just food. He was talking about the food that he liked. I was talking about, and come to find out he was an investor. And he gave me his business card, and we have been emailing. We've met up for coffee, and it was totally different. I even got some business out of some of the connections that I have got, and just did coffee with these people. It's been a great experience, because it's not the same old step-by-step process that a lot of these other organizations make you go through, and then you still end up with nothing. So already, and I haven't even gotten to the part of who's going to invest, but in the beginning, just doing the info session and doing the networking afterwards, I've gotten clients out of it. I've expanded my network tremendously. People that are like, hey, let me introduce you to this person. Oh, this person might be interested. And it's just, I would have never gotten that at any other organization, because they're looking at what's on paper. And if you don't meet their requirements, they don't even bother meeting with you or going any further with you to see exactly how to start your business or maintain your business. So Connectup was a huge difference from any other organizations I have been to, which I really appreciate, and I totally will be there in March. So just to be able to be in the room and to, even if no one does invest, just to get more information about how to be a better business owner or how to approach it differently would be great, although I am looking for investors. But to me, it just seems to be just a great event, and that's really going to help my business and push my business forward.
I think Connectup is a wonderful opportunity because a lot of times, in my experience, people don't talk about investing. We don't know how to talk to investors. We don't know what options are available to us. And I think Connectup is a very transparent way to have people, women of color especially, understand how investing works and be connected with the right people.